Hello, friends, and welcome to our YouTube channel, CareersTalk. My name is Sunil Sharma. I'm a senior consultant based in Netherlands, and today we are going to discuss the most frequently asked Safe Scrum Master interview questions asked in companies like Accenture, Capgemini, Infosys, CGI, BNY, and many more, as shared by our community members. And to help us, we have Harish with us. Now, this is part 2 of the series featuring Harish, who is an SPC certified Agile coach. The link to the part 1 can be found in the description and in the first pinned comment, which you can also watch later on. And friends, part 3 is coming soon with Harish. So to ensure that you don't miss any upcoming sessions, make sure to subscribe to our channel. And if you find value in our content, which I'm sure you will, we kindly encourage you to show your support by liking this video and share your feedback in the comment section below. Okay, so without further delay, let's welcome Harish. Harish, welcome, and thanks for giving us your time today. Harish, over to you.
Thanks a lot, Sunand. Good to have you again, see you again, and thanks for giving me an opportunity again to come in your channel and give a talk. You are doing a wonderful job. After doing that first video, I went through that. It came out good, and I think it is benefiting a lot of people because
Yes,
it crossed 2K views in 2 weeks.
correct.
That is something which is I feel it's good because that's my first YouTube channel interview, so that is one thing. And second thing is, I also after that went and saw your other videos. A lot of information is there. You're doing a very great job, Sunanda. So
Thank you,
continue
thank
doing
you.
it. And I
Yeah,
think
because of
I'll
people
be,
like you.
yeah. It's all, if there is a saying, right? If two hands come together, only it makes a sound, no? And
Correct,
that's
correct.
the thing. So if I'm alone, I cannot do anything, and it's applicable to others also. So
True,
that's the thing. It's a team effort, so I'll not take the
absolutely.
full credit. So part of the credit goes to you and also to the community members who promote our channel and videos. Yeah, that's
Wonderful,
great.
Harish.
Yeah, thanks, Sunand.
Okay,
So let's move on to the continuation directly. Yeah,
no problem. Okay, so let's move on. So, though it's the first question, but it's basically, I think, seventh and eighth question, like if you continue with the previous session.
yeah,
So
yeah,
the question is like during a PI planning session, let's say a debate is started about whether to estimate a function story separately, from the technical stories. So what is your take on this kind of issues, and how would you justify your position to ensure that there has to be accurate and comprehensive planning is need to be done? So yeah, Harish.
yeah. So it's a very tricky question, and it's a very practical question, in fact, Sunan, because this is a very common problem we face when we are trying to work on this PA planning sessions. So my take on this is, see, functional user stories should be estimated along with the technical user stories. It should not be left alone. There are different reasons for that. Number one main reason is your technical user stories are your enabler stories for your functional ones, right? So it is like, say, you can call it as twins, because if you don't implement your technical user stories properly, then your functional user stories may not perform well. And second thing why it should be estimated together is, um, usually I'm not telling all PUs, usually the product owners and the product managers give lesser importance to technical user stories, so they reprioritize that and put it at the back seat. But sometimes the technical user stories will be of more priority than functional user stories. Say, for example, I'll just give you an example of a login screen. So assume that if the backend is not clear and not the technical part, the database and all those things is not set, your functionality will not work. Even though I key in the data, the validation will not happen. So first, and also in a layman term to explain you, whenever you build a house, right, you have to build the base strong. So if the base is not strong, then how much ever you build strong the first or second floor, it is going to fall, right? So that is how I see, as see the technical stories, and my take is, they should be estimated together, Sunan. So that's the take on functional and technical stories. So what we do is, we constantly coach product owners and also make sure that tech team is also aware of the functionality that is coming in and what are the dependencies required for taking these functional and technical user stories together in single sprint. We also update in our team agreement as a rule that if there is any tech stories attached to functional stories, that the priority should be equally given importance to be taken in the current sprint. It should not happen that say functional stories are taken in current sprint and the corresponding technical stories taken in the next sprint. So that is what my take on that.
Thank you, Harish, for that. Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's move on. So, uh, can you describe a scenario where you, as a Scrum Master, are not satisfied with the business value assessment that has been provided by the business owner? So, how would you address this kind of issues, Harish?
Um, That's what that is. I can denote, say for example, I wanted to give a connection between the previous question and this question. There is a somewhat there is a relationship between the previous question and this question. I don't know whether you by it was a coincidence, but it's good that you asked this question now. See, as I said in my previous answer, right, the product owners give less priority to the some of the things, some of the say functionalities, and because of which what will happen is that the technical team may not be happy. I'll give you an example. Assume that they are giving a highest priority to one of the functionality which should go in, say, this PI within 3 months, but in order to implement that functionality, there are a lot of tech depths that are there, so because of which that the tech depths are a blocker to implement that functionality. So in that case, you have to prioritize your tech depth first and then put that tech depth into production and then build on this functionality. Okay. So this is a very common scenario when the team is not happy with the way the product owner is prioritizing the user story. Now, how will I address this problem? First is understand why the product owner has prioritized that. Do an assessment on that. Get data on the ground. What is the reason? Is there any push from the customer or is there any push from the senior leadership? All those data I will just collect, and also I will also collect the tech technical reason for why the team is telling that this should not be prioritized. What are the technical aspects of that? And then bring both the product business team and the technical team into a call, facilitate that and show them the pros and cons of implementing this, pros and cons of the prioritization, which should be prioritized on what basis. So this will give you a clear picture of where things have gone wrong, and then try to correct the problem. So first, understanding, and then assessment from your side with the data. Take the data, table it out with the corresponding stakeholders, the business team and the technical team, and make them understand. See, there may be sometimes even the tech team may be wrong. See, for example, in one case the business team was wrong and they prioritized because there are a lot of tech depth. But another case, there was a third party vendor which from where we have to get the plugin, and without the business people, they didn't understand that that this functionality will work along with the plugin only. So they just went and prioritized that. But what has happened is, when we inquired with the third party vendors, so the plugin, they said that the plugin will be available on time. So the tech team was not having enough information to assess that. So that I could able to bring that out and show them this is what the thing. So, and one more thing is, by doing this, what you're trying to do is you're bringing in the core values of safe also, right? Safe and agile, the transparency, and making it very clear to the team that what is the common goal and common understanding of that. So this is how I deal with this kind of scenarios. So one suggestion to Scrum Masters and coaches is, see, your data is your weapon. So without authority, using your servant leadership experience and skill, you can make wonders and magic in data. So that's it from my side, Sunand.
Thank you, Harish, for that elaborated answer. Great. Let's move on. Okay, so the next question is on the PI planning. So during the preparation of this PI planning, how do you identify and manage the dependencies and the risks? And if you can also describe, let's say, your approach to ensure that all these things has been addressed proactively. So how you are going to do that? Like how you are going to track and mitigate all this risk in your project, Harish?
So see, this SAFE has given a very clear cut understanding or a framework for managing the dependency. That is your planning board. So your planning board will show you what are the dependencies among the features. Because if you take the planning board, it is uh, the rows will be the teams and the columns will be the iteration, that is the sprints, and each and every box in that will represent any feature that has been dependent with another feature. So we evolved this planning board during our PA planning, and then this is a continuous. This planning board will be updated continuously during PA execution also, and this planning board will be visible to everyone. If it's a virtually distributed team, then we maintain the planning board in a tool, or if it is a co-located team, then we just put it in front of a place where everyone, all the art team members can access that, and also the senior leadership. So constant update of the planning board will ensure the dependency visibility. That is one thing. Second thing is identifying the dependencies, and then and the risk. What are the ways we can do? So whenever I conduct key agile or scrum or safe events, I involve all the key stakeholders accordingly. Say, for example, if I have a backlog refinement session, I involve the team members, and this will help you to ensure that the cross communication is also ensured. Say, suppose if any other team member apart from outside the team needs to participate because of some dependency, we just include them also. So we coach our scrum masters to be very vigilant on that. So we will also ensure that ask the scrum masters to do a detailed study of who should attend what kind of meeting. So our meetings, say what is say the meetings number of the stakeholders, right? It is not fixed. It will be dynamic. So that is what I tell my scrum master to do. And then what will happen, what we also do is we will also create a dependency matrix inside the team. I talked about the planning board. Planning board is at feature level. Okay, what if I have a user story dependency which I cannot represent in the planning board? So that will be tracked in a dependency matrix, which will tell you which user story of team A is dependent on which user story of team B. Okay, this is one more technique which we can do. And third one is we conduct risk workshops. Say, for example, I feel that the risks are not managed properly across teams, and they are not proactively addressed. Then what we do is we conduct a regular risk workshop monthly once to identify what kind of risk that can come. That is one thing. And also plan and manage the existing risk. So there is a beautiful strategy given by project management, from project management side, how to strategize the risk. That I will try to do it. Okay, so these are all some of the ways which I will try to manage the dependency. And then finally, what we do is I'll also try to proactively project that in a dashboard if possible, using the tool like Jira, Mural, Miro, and all. It's your collaboration tool and your agile lifecycle management tool, and then show them. So in that dashboard we can see what are the high level risk, high dependencies, which is related to leadership, which and also we project the dependencies age when it was created and how long it is there and what kind of actions has been taken, when is the last action taken. So we go at a detailed level so that it is very clear that the tracking and the life cycle of the dependency is very clear to everyone in the team. So these are all some of the ways I just try to
Yeah.
do the dependency management. And one more thing, I'll just end this with the thing. One more small suggestion to the Scrum Masters who work. Even this you can take it even if you don't work in safe projects. See, whenever I work in teams, right? When you work in a team, try to create a Teams channel using Teams or Slack. So we create a group chat and then give opportunity to team to raise the risk or impediment as and when it occurs. So sometimes what happens, the team member thinks that we have to raise dependencies only during daily stand up. But that should not be the case. You should raise the dependencies and risk at any point of time the moment you identify it. So that what happens, once I table it in a Microsoft Teams channel or Slack, it is visible to everyone. So whoever is a owner or whoever has answer to solve that problem, so immediately it will get solved. So for example, a risk or dependency which can be solved in 15 minutes, if you wait till next stand up call, it is going to take 24 hours, right? So that is the kind of advantage you get when you work with this collaboration. So these are some of the practical things we have done, and it worked. It works also. Yeah. That's it from my side, Sunand.
Okay. Okay. Wonderful, Harish. So I have one kind of follow-up question on this because we are talking about team level and program level risk. So if you can also elaborate, like what are committed and uncommitted objective?
Yeah, yeah. Okay, no? I'll just switch on my charger. Yeah. Committed and sorry, can you repeat the question if
So
you
what are
don't
like
mind?
committed and uncommitted objectives?
So, see, um, this is a kind of this is a concept introduced by Save to bring in more predictability with the team. So, when I say committed objectives, uh, the objectives which have more clarity and which gives the team to give team the confidence to complete it, right? Those are all called as committed objectives. Okay. So where there are less dependencies and the confidence level of the team is more and less spikes user stories. Suppose if I have an objective with less spikes user stories and less external dependencies, then I will classify that set of user stories under a committed objectives kind of thing. So that is one thing. Uncommitted objectives is more of a stretch goal. I will not call exactly the stretch goal, but if the team is not having confidence, there are a lot of dependencies with the external vendors and all those things, then that will be categorized as uncommitted objectives. Let me give you a practical example. Assume that the team is working on a module where there are certain core work that needs to be done by the team, and then that module will work fine only when there is a plugin that will be developed by an external vendor. And then there are other cosmetic features which also needs to be done by this team. Now if there is a risk of that plugin, okay, getting that plugin, if there is a delay in that plugin from the vendor, then I will classify this cosmetic features and all those things as an uncommitted objectives, and then I will not commit for that these things will be going for this PI. And the committed objectives are the things which I have clarity, so which the team can do. So like that, I will classify it. And once if the plugin comes on time and vendor is able to deliver that on time, then I will take that uncommitted objectives also, and the team can work on that. Till that time, that uncommitted objectives will not be taken and worked by the team. So that is how I see a committed and uncommitted objective. And during PI planning, we also calculate the capacity for this uncommitted objectives, because sometimes the PO may not value the work done by the team for uncommitted objectives, and they will not include in the PA predictability measure. So that is an anti-pattern. So the Scrum Masters and the RTE should fight for the team, because the team has worked on the uncommitted objective, they have completed it. So that also adds value to the end business goal. So this is the explanation for committed and uncommitted objectives.
Great, Harish. Thank you for that. Okay, so the next question is little interesting. Uh, in respect to the budgeting and cost, so what are the role and contribution of a Scrum Master and a RTE in budgeting and cost tracking? Harish?
Yeah. So it's a bit tricky question from a practical perspective. When I work with Scrum Masters, right, and RTs, I've also worked as an RT and also as a coach and all. So some of the transmission, some of the projects where the Scrum Master is not exposed to this budgeting and costing, and also sometimes the RT is also not exposed. That's what I have experienced. But having said that, it doesn't mean that the Scrum Master should not understand the budgeting and costing. It's very, very important, because I'll tell you the reason why they were not exposed, and now now the leadership is feeling the importance that the Scrum Master should also understand budgeting and costing. See, budgeting and costing is more of a traditional thing, and it's mostly done by finance team, right? And also it is a project management concept. If you go to project management PMP certification, there is a separate chapter for project costing and budgeting. So it was ignored when it comes to agile, and also when agile came in, Scrum was introduced first. Scrum talks about team excellence, building the team, and all those things. So what they felt is, if the team is happy, then all other things will fall in place. But that is applicable for a small team. But when it comes to scale, right, you have to optimize both. You have to bring in team happiness, at the same time you have to ensure that the project is also under worked under a budget. So that is one reason why they were not exposed. But if the Scrum Master and RTs are exposed to budgeting, then what the Scrum Master and RTE can do is bring in some key cost related metrics into your dashboard and track it. See, what we will do is we will calculate what is the money spent per sprint. Every iteration, what is the money spent? I'll just tell you at a high level how we do it. Say we work with vendor teams. Say the client gives billing to the vendors. So what we give is, we give a formula to the vendor to find out how much billing amount is getting spent when one sprint or one iteration is completed, or two iteration is completed. Like that we will try to calculate, and so we initially itself we'll know what will be the cost of. Suppose you have 10 sprint, and every sprint I'm going to spend $10. My total cost to execute that sprint is $100. So that is my actual budget. Sorry, planned budget. Right, upfront we will calculate based on the billing rate, and then we will ask the client to track what are the actual spent on. So in that way, we do budget tracking, whether we are on track with the budget or we are overshooting or not. This is at a team level, and this is specifically for Scrum Masters. Now when it comes to RTE, that is at a program level, what we do is we talk at programs. So we just calculate at each team and then collate it, and then check which team is deviating and what kind of actions can be done. So the dashboard metrics may differ for but the calculations are the basic calculations. So this one thing we will do. And also at program level, the RTE participates more on forecasting and then planning for next quarter, all those things. So we have something called horizons, right, in safe, right? So then so say for example, there are some products which needs more investment. They are in the initial nascent stage. There are some projects where it is already up and running and it started generating revenue. And there are some projects where it is in a sunset mode. So accordingly, based on the understanding of the project and the product types, we can allocate budget. That is one thing. And also the value streams is that RTE should also be in a position to understand which value stream I should fund so that they get maximum business value. So this are the some of the things which RTE and Scrum Master should know to understand the budgeting and all. And one more thing, what we suggest to the team members also is we also teach them what is the impact, financial impact of the decisions which they are taking. So make them understand and raise any financial impediments or financial risk which can occur. So that is one more way of coaching the team to make them understand that how costly their mistake may be. Say for example, if a P1 ticket is created and the SLA is not getting met, how much money the organization may lose. If the downtime is more, if your application downtime is more, how much money the organization may lose. So these are all some of the things we will bring in during our coaching session, so that the team member, the developer who sits on the ground, he understand the impact and take very conscious decisions and report any immediate problems immediately to the Scrum Master or the RTE. So this is my way of looking into what the Scrum Master and RTE should understand from budgeting and costing perspective.
Great, Harish. Thank you for that. If you allow, if you allow, I just want to add one or two lines over here.
Sure.
Yeah. So I just tell in a very simple layman term that if the Scrum Master helps the team with the accurate sprint planning and estimation, so just by ensuring that the estimates are realistic and that the team has a clear understanding of that work involved, right? I think the Scrum Master indirectly influence the budget and the cost. And from a RT perspective, so RT track actual expenditure against the budget to monitor the financial performance of the art. So RT ensures that the resources are effectively utilized and they are optimally allocated across the art. So they track the utilization of resources and they help in making those kind of decisions about reallocating few resources from different teams or different project based on the all these budgetary constraint and whatever their priorities. So I think, yeah, that's something additional I just want to add.
Thanks for pointing out. Sorry, I missed that aspect.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
No problem. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. It's pretty straightforward. Like, how does SAFe different from Scrum at scale, or let's say SOS, or different framework which we have?
Okay. So, see, my take on this or my perspective is when you take Scrum at scale, advocates saying that okay, you just form new teams and then try to evolve the teams and scale it up. They don't tell what to have to do with the existing team. Say for example, even Scrum at at the starting level, Scrum says that we should not have project managers. All right. So there is a question that comes in to the organization. So if I need to start everything new, what should I do with the current hierarchy and all those things? So this is where a SAFe comes into picture, and SAFe addresses this problem in a different way. So SAFe tells that don't disturb the current hierarchy. Create a new network teams and a team of teams and scale it up, by forming value streams, deliver it, deliver the product, and once the product has been successfully delivered, then the teams which worked on that will go back to that hierarchy. So in that way, there is a clarity to the organization on what the current hierarchical structure tells, and also does when I bring in safe, so that there is no major disruption to the current hierarchy. So this is the difference, or this is what I feel when it comes to difference between safe and scrum at scale. um so that is what the thing. And some more things, like say, um, Scrum at Scale doesn't addresses how I should deal with suppliers, whether they how much agility is expected from them. What if I have a government contract? If say assume I am an IT company who has scaled up, and what if I need to take up any government related projects? How should I handle? What are the compliance and all those things? So these things are not mentioned in Scrum at Scale. And if you ask me, SAFe is very prescriptive. Scrum at Scale is giving a kind of high level guidance, and then making the ground level team to take their own directions. That's the difference, Sunand.
Okay, thank you for that, Harish. Okay, let's move on. So the next question is on the enablers. So what are enablers and the architectural runway and how these are connected? So that's the question, Harish.
Okay. So see, enablers are also a kind of a user story or feature, you can just tell, but they are not the functional user story or feature. So they are like a backbone um, for any kind of products. So usually they are acting as a supporting user stories or supporting features for a functional user story or functional features. So how will we handle these enablers is, we will try to classify these enablers into four types. Say for example, first type may be exploration, whether any exploration that needs to be done. These are all called as spikes. Say any kind of new technology we should explore, then we just try to classify under that. Current thing is, say, AI and ML is growing. So if there is any AI ML projects, what are the enablers I should bring in order to build a AI ML product? So that is one thing. Second type is, what is the architectural improvements which I can do to the to the architecture which is available. Say for example, I have a monolithic architecture. Now I wanted to migrate to microservices architecture. So it's an entire shift from one type to another type. So what are the enabler user stories I should bring in, so that I can ensure my architecture, my migration is very intact and the customers are not affected. So like that is an architecture thing. Third one is the infrastructure. Infrastructure is nothing but your cloud or on-prem. What is that which is required for the team to develop this project? Say from a storage perspective, how much storage I should bring in, and then from a CI/CD pipeline perspective, and a process perspective, right? So what kind of tools I can bring in, tool stack. So this is also, say, any scripting I should create to build this infrastructure. This is the third type. We classify the enabler into third type. Fourth one is a compliance. So see, there are some kind of enablers where I should be compliant with, so that I abide by the compliance authority and all those things. Say for example, this is very very common in banking industry. I need to create I am building a loan application, then I am dealing with customer data. So how should I handle it? Should I write any encryption for so that the the customer data is not exposed? What is the security patch I should bring in? So these are all the things which may not have a direct impact on the customer may not use these enablers to do their work, but absence of this is going to bring in customers dissatisfaction. So this is how we classify it, and then ensure that this is correspondingly done. And also one more suggestion which I give, which you can also take while working as scrum master in RTE, is we also do a normal distribution of these types when we try to prioritize and put what kind of enablers can go in each and every sprint. Say, for example, at the initial stage of the project, a lot of infrastructure enablers we will do, and also take some complaints things. And as we evolve, we will do more exploration and build our more architecture. So this is the strategy which we use when we try to work on enablers. And coming to architecture runway. Okay, so architecture runway is nothing but all your technical things, like say existing code and components, modules, and technical infrastructure, and all those things. So this architecture runway should be robust enough, and at the same time you should also, they call it in this agile language, you should also avoid PUFD, big upfront design in architecture. So you should build a just in time architecture which is required for that uh, that PA, or say either 1 or 2 PA, that is 3 to 6 months time, and then evolve on that and build that architecture runway. So that is how you are to do. Don't boil the entire ocean. That is what that is what BUFD tells. Big upfront design. So, and also your redesign. Suppose if you are going to add something to your architecture, it should be loosely coupled, and there should be minimal changes, so that you don't need to change the entire architecture. So if you ask me how to assess the architecture runway, these are all the points. That is one thing. And your architecture runway enablers, okay, will be a predecessor for your successor functional story. Say, for example, um, I'm building a loan application where that loan data is fed into a robust analytical engine, and then it gives you the EMIs and all those things. So you, in order for that application to work fine, your analytical engine should be built first. So that should be your strategy. So your architecture runway should be in such a way that your functionality is built in a very smooth manner. So this is how you can also assess the architecture runway. And when I work with technical architects, we also do constant assessment of the architectural runway, say how we do agile maturity assessments and all those things. And we also that architect also bring in corresponding metrics to show how healthy the runway is, what kind of things we can do. So these are all some of the practical things which we have done um, um, to manage enablers and also the architecture runway.
Wonderful, Harish. Thank you for that elaborated answer. Okay, let's move on to the last question of the day. That is that how do you define and create an agile restrain within an organization? So if you can take any of your past experience and from there, if you can just elaborate, that will be great.
Yeah. So see, this answer is pretty much defined in in scaled agile website. But I will give you from a practical perspective what we have done when we are working with art. No, so agile release train. So let me give you an example of, say, we were working in a loan processing system. We are trying to build a loan related product, and we have been asked to build a art for that, and we pretty much followed what safe is told. But I'll just tell you what kind of challenges that may come. Okay, so the first step is to identify the value stream. So which is the value stream, or how, what, when I say value stream, there are two types of value stream. One is your operational value stream, another one is your development value stream. So we first identified what is the operational value stream will look like. Because the anti-pattern which I have seen working in safe projects is, uh, they start creating the development value stream first, and then before understanding what is your operational value stream. But it should be sequential. First ensure that the operation value stream is having good clarity, and then start forming the development value stream. That is one practical tip which I can give. And then once we create the value stream, then form the art. Like say we bring in the corresponding people, ensure that a cross functional art is formed. That is always the mantra of forming teams. And safe has given a very beautiful reference from team topologies book. So they just they'll give you a picture of how the team should be formed, what should be your future team look like, and then what are the stream aligned team, and then platform teams and all those things. So form the teams based on that. Okay. And once you form the team, the art will be defined. Then once the art is formed, once you form teams, then you will have an art to work on. Define the art scopes and objectives. Say for example, if I take a loan application, scope could be the all the activities from the loan application, from starting of the loan to disbursement of the loan. Okay. So so this so this we can derive that. That's why I told we should have the operational value stream, which is which is already built in. So from there you have to understand what is the scope to develop that product. So so build that scope and objectives. And then probably your objectives may look like, say, reduce the processing time. Currently the loan application would have been done manual process, so you are trying to bring in a software application to do that process. Probably your objective may be to reduce the processing time by 50%. That will be your objective. Okay. Then what happens, you based on the objective, you start forming the your iteration, your teams. Probably you either form scrum teams or kanban teams based on what the team is trying to achieve. Say for example, you can, for loan application, it will be an application review team, or a credit check team, or a loan approval team, or loan disbursement team. So so these teams are basically there, you are developing a software for these teams, right? So ensure that and these teams are interdependent. So so by forming teams from the product perspective, you can ensure that the teams understand the roles and responsibility clearly, and they are cross functional, and they also understand the dependencies which can have. Say for example, what are the dependencies an application review team may have on credit check team, and vice versa. So like that, try to bring in the product concept right from beginning of forming the teams. And then once you form the teams, obviously you have to assign the roles, who will play the role of RTE, scrum master, product manager, architect, and product owners, and the developers, testers, and BA. So that is very obvious, which you would have done, which you will do in a normal non-safe projects also. And one more thing very important is, safe already recommends, before bringing in these teams also ensure that proper training is given. And after forming teams also, try to find out, is there any training gap. I'll tell you why we have to do it. The teams are very dynamic. Sometimes what happens, the team members may not get onboarded when the project started because of the niche resource, or this resource skill is not available in the market, so it may take some time for that resource to get onboarded. So that is why we should always have a recheck of training the teams. What is the training gap, and train those people again on the safe principles and practices. So here I recommend one thing: safe for teams is recommended for all team members. Ensure that everybody is safe for teams certified, and then start your PI planning. Okay. And then It's a normal thing. You just conduct the PA planning session, and you have, as I talked in my previous videos, pre-PA planning, post-PA planning, during PA planning, and then post-PA planning execution. All those things you can do. And then once you start executing the PA, there are certain principles which you have to do follow. One is, there is a very famous saying in SAFe, uh, develop on cadence and release on demand. So ensure your iterations are following a cadence, either a 2 weeks or a 4 weeks or a 3 weeks. Don't have different cadence for different teams. This is a very challenging thing, but it is worth the effort. Try to spend time to ensure that each team start the sprint on the same day and end on the same day. Okay, that is very, very important. And then don't skip any kind of scrum events or art events. Very, very important. Don't ignore. When it says skip, I'm not asking you not to just be present. Not the thing I'm talking about. Don't take a art level decision that we should not conduct coach sync or PO sync or coach sync, or say we will not conduct system demo, because see, there is a reason for each and every event, right? So all art level events needs to be facilitated by the RTE, and all team level event needs to be facilitated by the scrum master or the team coach. Ensure this, and also get into a continuous improvement mode, and then align with the business goal. So one of the key metrics which I always recommend is your PI predictability score of each and every team. Ensure that the PA predictability measure is always tracked every PA, and also try to keep a closer track on every sprint on sprint also. So I'll tell you how we do it. At team level, we have smaller demos. That is at system at PA level, it's system demo. At team level, it is a team demo or a sprint demo or an iteration demo, we call it. Ensure your sprint demos are also taken seriously by the team and also with the stakeholders, so that your final business goal is always aligned. So these are all some of the key things and key suggestions, and we have done this practically and it works. You can also go and try to implement all those things. Of course, each team, each art is different, so that is where our experience comes. So what work for one art may not work for another art. So try to have that try to have that in back of your mind, and take correct decisions. So these are all some of the steps, Sunan, for ensuring that your what do you say, your art is successfully launched, and it is a very high performing art, you can tell. Yeah.
Okay. You can hear me, Harish?
Yeah, tell me.
Yeah. No, nothing. Like, I mean, I thought like I was on mute, so that's what just I'm checking. Okay, I think we are good, Harish. Thank you for that elaborated answer. And thank you for joining us today. And friends, we hope that you found this session helpful. Please don't forget to leave a comment and like this video to show your support. Your feedback help us to create more valuable content for you. And if you are new here, please subscribe and become a part of our CareersTalk family. So see you in our next session. And thank you, Harish, one more time. Harish.
Thank you, Sunan. Thanks a lot. So we will continue this journey. We will have a long-term relationship, and
Thank-
ensure continuously enrich your community with all the knowledge. And
Wonderful.
during this, I also learn a lot. So
Thank you,
that's the
Harish.
thing. Yeah.
Thank you.
So we grow together.
Thank
Great.
you,
Thank
Harish.
you. Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.